Hi, welcome to Pauline Interviews, Part 2 with Jane DeForest, author and psychic artist. Jane has written a wonderful book called Love Never Dies. You know what it reminds me of? That scene in Ghost where Patrick Swayze turns around and says to Demi Moore, "It's amazing, Molly," that was her character, "you take it with you. You more or less said you take the love with you." And that's what you say, Jane, in your book.
Absolutely.
Love never dies. So when you lose a loved one, it's so hard on you, but
Absolutely.
but how do you keep that love?
Yes, that love never dies. I'm
On both sides of the veil.
absolutely, and I must say, I think it's really important. Although grieving is a natural human and animal response, many animals mourn too, of losing a loved one, and there's no right way to mourn. So someone might be over it in a week, it might take 10 years, but I do see that there is a strong love bond that is so powerful between people who've loved each other in this lifetime. It's a very important and powerful message.
Yeah, and a lot of times when people have lived 40, 50, 60 years in marriage, when the one partner goes, a few months later, it's not surprising the next partner will go.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. It's hard to be in Earth School. This is a tough school. Mm-hmm. There's we have a veil of forgetting when we enter, and so
forgetting who we truly are.
That and forgetting, yes, who we truly are, as is written in over the doorway at the Oracle of Delphi. Know thyself. That doesn't mean know that you like pizza or versus sandwiches. That means know that you are it. Know that you are that. Know that you are the divine spark. That you are
powerful.
Incredibly powerful, and the ability to communicate with those on the other side is within us. It's something we can achieve. One thing that I do teach people is look for signs. If you haven't established a sign with someone who's already passed, which is something to consider, for example, a butterfly or an owl or something red, a red heart.
What if you haven't established that?
If you haven't established it, then start having a conversation with your loved one on the other side about a sign that you would like to receive. And pay attention to what's happening around you. So say you indicate through speaking out loud to your loved one on the other side that you would really love to have a sign of an owl.
Mm-hmm. You
can keep your eyes open. It may not be an owl hooting in the tree, especially if you live in New York City. It may be an owl in a television program, or it may be a song about an owl. It may be an owl in an artwork. Mm-hmm. Maybe an owl feather.
And aren't there ways? I mean, there are some standard ways the people who've crossed over communicate with you. One is electrical affecting like lights flickering.
Oh, that's big.
That's a big one, and or sounds, and also maybe coming to you in a dream.
Dreams are classic because we're in that semi-somnolent state.
Or even just appearing to you.
It could appear to people. Coming through in animals is really classic.
Explain that one.
Somehow spirits on the other side are able to enter animals temporarily. I don't understand how, but it seems that I see so much of this that it's got to be something that they're able to do. Birds are very common.
Also, it could be not necessarily your pet, but just an animal outside.
Oh, definitely. Wild animals and pets. It does seem as if loved ones are able to enter a pet temporarily, where all of a sudden it's the cat,
He'll jump on your lap maybe, or something.
Cuddles, or it's just what you see in their eye, just cuddles. So there's cuddles, and there's like, whoa, that's not cuddles.
He usually scratches me.
It's more the perception of the energy. But I tell people that love never dies. Those on the other side know your thoughts. They know your heart. It's as if you have an open screen. They don't judge. There's no judgment. If someone's drinking a little too much or not
They don't
telling
judge
the
on that
truth.
side, but we judge on this side.
Oh, we're
We judge on this
incredibly
side.
judgmental, and we're often quite narrow-minded about what we expect from things or what's possible, so that it's difficult for spirits on the other side to get through to us, which is why in the semi-somnolent state of just waking up.
How about meditation? If you really want to reach a loved one, could you meditate and just relax and get your ego out of the way, and maybe they can somehow communicate with you?
That's a lovely way to do it if you can do that. Absolutely. Walking in nature. There's something about nature that
I love nature.
that takes our auric field and cleanses it. I encourage people to make an altar, and if that you don't like that word, you could make a focal focal point on a table with a cloth that may be from their favorite scarf or garment, a photograph, because I believe that I'm starting to understand that there's some truth to what the ancients understood about creating an artwork, what we call art, what they believe is magic, is by creating a form in this world, the spirit is able to enter that form, whether it's a marble statue of Venus or whether it's a painting of Sekhmet. The spirit is able to enter that and communicate with the person. I also see that that idea can be applied to a photograph of the person on the other side in your altar or your central point. It's nice to have a personal ring or something that they wore. I encourage people to not get too fundamental or too attached to the form of how it is. It's the intention, it's the ritual. And then spend a certain amount of time every day in front of this as a focal point, talking to the picture. I know it might seem, if it's people are uncomfortable, maybe do it when no one else is in the house. but it's not so much for them on the other side. They can hear your thoughts, but it's a focusing of your concepts and expressing them that helps them to be powerful.
Shows you still honor and love them. How about sometimes people use candles? What do candles do? I mean, I know they're used in religious purposes, but a lot of times if somebody's crossed over, people will light a candle.
I don't really know.
Yeah, it's just a symbolic, I think something symbolic.
It might be, or it might actually, there are certain things that can traverse the veil between this reality and the subtle realms. A candle might be one of them. One thing I do see, I only say honestly what I personally know. So if I've researched it, I will say that.
Yes.
So I don't make anything up. It's my own personal experience.
That's good.
So I don't know for sure about a candle, but it must be important because it's such an ancient tradition. But what I can perceive from my own vantage point is that lilies, somehow lilies traverse the veil. Now, if you look at Christ in this Easter time, what is the symbol?
Lily.
So I don't think that's an accident.
And they smell nice.
I believe the smell.
They smell nice. The thing is, some people don't like them because they remind them of funerals too. Because they
use them at funerals too.
Sometimes, yeah. But it depends how you look at a funeral. They left their life. They're crossing over. They're fine. They're still alive. It's just that we think of it as such a finalization that if you associate lilies with that's it, they're gone. They'll never be around again. Maybe that's why it seems negative.
Well, I think that you make a good point. And this is how I work with my clients is. We have to work with the hardware that we have in our system, because if we don't, we're bumping up against our idea of what reality is. If you have a broad, open-minded idea, you understand the physics, that this isn't solid, this table is actually 99% space. I mean, and that's not woo-woo, that's not even, that's like turn of the 1900s.
With a powerful microscope, you could probably see the spaces between them.
That's right. Yeah. That's Einstein stuff. Yeah. So, the physics now, it's completely different. They're talking entanglement.
Quantum physics.
Yeah, this is all entanglement, which is a great foundation for understanding intuition, psychic development, communicating with the other side. Yeah. But my underlying message, besides the accoutrement and the technique, is that your loved ones never die, and the love that connects you is a strong cord. Sending message and receiving the messages takes a little bit of practice, but it's absolutely applicable. It's not great for business because people don't really need a medium to communicate with their loved ones. But it is helpful sometimes if you want to get some specific
I just thought of something. When you say love never dies, this, I don't mean to sound negative, but sometimes people are together and they don't love each other. So when they cross over, do they realize that love is important and they love the people that were left even though the people didn't love them?
Right.
That's kind of a hard thing to answer, I imagine.
Yeah, not so much, because I sort of see love as in a different way from my vantage point in doing this work for as long as I have, is that there's the human aspect of love. Here's how I see it, that we're two, and this is a simplified form, but bear with me, that there's two primary aspects to our existence on earth. There's our physical body, and then there's our spiritual self. The physical body is brilliant. It's an amazing tool. We really diss it a lot, but it's a remarkable vehicle, actually. And it has its own consciousness, I've come to understand. When we merge with our soul, which might be a soulmate kind of relationship, we become a human being for this experience. So we get confused on this planet about really what love is. So we may have a feeling of animosity or hatred for someone for whatever reason. But when we are released from this, when we release this earthly vestment and we have a higher vantage point, we see that love is a different animal. It is not only just a personal relationship, but it is a quantum experience.
Now, lastly, you also communicate with animals. So
I do.
And you also said animals have feelings too. I mean, like if a mother dog loses a puppy and she's going to mourn, she's going to mourn too.
Absolutely. I'll tell you this. The work that I do, I'm a humble student. I'm constantly in awe of what I'm learning, and I learn often the most from animals. This is my next book, is I'll be collecting different stories of animals. But yeah, dogs, cats, incredibly intelligent. Horses, incredibly intelligent. We underestimate and we project our human system onto them. So it makes it a little bit difficult. But I've just finished a series of readings for some big cats that was compelling, some tigers and some lions. I was talking, some tigers and lions, and a black cougar that stunned me. But yeah, one recently I read an animal who owner was there, didn't really believe in this psychic stuff, but loved his dog so much that he was willing to go to some flaky psychic. So, so
that's sweet.
Yeah, so it's funny the people that find me because of the animal. So the animal, a big bear of a Bouvier, was telling me through pictures. Animals don't talk in English. People find that amazing sometimes, but they talk in a different form. It's a different. So being open to that right there is the key to understanding your critter. And he was showing me that this big old tough Harley driving Vietnam vet was holding him in a spooning position and loving this dog. And so I said that. I said, you know, this dog really says you love him and that you spoon on the floor with him. And the guy's like, you know, because am I okay? And then the dog was saying that he could feel the energy of love, that it had a color and it enveloped him. And then he told me that the man put his head against the wall and would cry sometimes.
Because he missed his dog.
And then he showed me the picture. I can tell if someone's killed someone, which is interesting. People's energy changes if they've killed someone.
But was the intention different, like in war, as in murder?
It can, yes, it can be. But killing someone is still killing someone in the energy field. And I said, he says that you've killed someone you've held has died, but that you haven't killed him. Because I could tell he hadn't killed this man.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming it was at war. And and I said, but you feel very bad about this. And he said, and he nodded. And I said, the presence of this man is right here. And he's saying that it's okay. It's how it was supposed to be.
Was it like an accident or something?
His father had a cardiac arrest and he couldn't revive him.
Oh, so he didn't kill him, he just couldn't bring him back.
And I told him, you didn't kill this man. But the man was carrying the energy that he had.
Okay, this is a different
him.
person than the dog person. Or was this the dog
The
person?
dog person.
Oh, okay, so the dog communicated, but then his father came in and communicated with you.
Right.
Oh, okay, amazing. I'm saying the dog didn't tell you that.
The dog told me all that, except the father's presence was there. The man I didn't know was a father. But that dog knew all of that.
Oh, he felt the man's feelings. Wow,
he
that's
felt
amazing.
his feelings.
Yeah.
He knew he'd killed someone that he hadn't killed. He knew that he felt terrible about this.
Yeah.
So after this, his wife wrote me a letter about a month later and said that the man hadn't gotten angry in a month, which was amazing, or had once and had apologized for it.
Okay. His personality changed. That's wonderful.
Because he was no longer carrying the guilt that he hadn't been able to revive his father. If you can imagine, that must be 1,000 pounds every day. How do you get out of bed?
A lot of people feel this stuff. I don't know.
So to me, that is probably one of the sweetest, most beautiful stories about not only a man being freed from an imaginary scenario, because he couldn't have saved him, and his father said it was as it should be, but that the dog understood all of that.
It's amazing. We just don't realize how connected we are to our animals. It's not only domestic animals, but we need to be kind and wonderful to all animals. And
and now, wild animals are different to talk to. It's really interesting. And we'll
have to do this quickly, but I want to hear it.
I don't know. It's getting in, but I will say with wild animals, and that's a whole and a different program, I'm afraid, because for me to do it justice. But I will say, wild animals are more connected to a totem.
Okay.
So it's a whole almost archetype.
But they don't share lives with us like they're domestic animals so much, so they're in a kind of in a different realm. Right. So I understand that. That makes sense.
But what's interesting is that they embody an aspect of a totem that I don't see the domestic as much.
We're going to end now, but is there anything you want to, because this has been fascinating.
Thank you.
Is there anything you want to say to kind of wrap this up? It doesn't matter. We're talking about love survives. I mean, just because your loved one's not there, we can't see, we don't have the ability, but we can learn to have the ability to communicate. And there are different ways that they communicate with us. In fact, I didn't write it. I read a book, 15 or 16 ways your loved ones communicate with you. So we just have to be aware and open our minds and hearts, right?
I think that you put it succinctly.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jane. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for watching another edition of Pauline Interviews. Now, if you like our show, I'm hoping you do, please let your friends know about it, and we would love if you would subscribe. You'll find out what other shows we're doing pretty quickly, pretty soon. Thank you. Bye.